Let's talk about Ray Epps. Ray Epps is suing Fox News and Tucker Carlson for defamation for Tucker Carlson's question, who is Ray Epps? I feel like we should have this echo in the studio as we say that. Who is Ray Epps? It's like the question of a century. It is the question of our times. Who is Ray Epps? Who is this guy? And why has the FBI treated him the way that they have treated him, or treated him the way they haven't treated him? It's a perfectly valid question, one that we've asked many times on this show, and we will continue to ask. A couple of points. This story was already kind of a crazy story, and it's gotten even crazier today, not just because Ray Epps is suing Fox News. We're going to talk about that part first, because truly what happened here is this is what's called a nuisance lawsuit. Ray Epps is hoping that Fox News will settle with him the way that Fox News settled with Dominion voting system. So oftentimes when there are high-profile people, or this includes companies as big as Fox News, when they have a lawsuit against them, they don't want to go to discovery because they don't want their emails and their text messages revealed even to a jury because it'll be leaked to the news. They don't want their executives deposed. They don't want their talent exposed to this kind of negative publicity. So they just settle. That's what Fox News did with Dominion. They didn't want the Murdochs. They didn't want Tucker Carlson. They didn't want other people at the company to be deposed, so they just settled with Dominion lawsuits. But what this does, I hate nuisance lawsuits, and I hate settling nuisance lawsuits, because what it does is it invites more lawsuits. It invites people like Ray Epps to think, oh, maybe I could squeeze a little money out of Fox News too if they don't actually want to go to trial. My case doesn't have to be that strong. They just have to fear the trial. They have to fear the process of the trial, and maybe I'll get a payout from it. So for that reason, I don't like when places settle nuisance lawsuits. I think that Ray Epps' lawyer is an expert in nuisance lawsuits. His lawyer, by the way, is a man named Brian Farnan, who was the lead Delaware counsel for Dominion voting systems lawsuit against Fox. You cannot make this stuff up. Cannot make this stuff up. There is a concerted effort by the left to go after Fox News, to try to, this is what they did with Dominion, right? The Dominion PR people came straight from Jill Biden's office at the White House, the office of the First Lady. It's not a coincidence. It's not a coincidence. So the New York Times reported on this lawsuit initially, and I want to read what they wrote. They said, Ray Epps, the man at the center of a widespread conspiracy theory about the attack on the Capitol on January 6th of 2021, filed a lawsuit on Wednesday accusing Fox News and its former host, Tucker Carlson, of defamation for promoting a, quote, fantastical story that Mr. Epps was an undercover government agent who instigated the violence at the Capitol as a way to disparage President Donald Trump and his supporters. This is what the complaint reads. Just as Fox had focused on voting machine companies when falsely claiming a rigged election, Fox knew it needed a scapegoat for January 6th. It settled on Ray Epps and began promoting the lie that Epps was a federal agent who incited the attack on the Capitol. It's kind of funny to read the language of this lawsuit, understanding that Ray Epps' lawyer is the same lawyer for Dominion. So, of course, he references his own work. So you think, oh, well, if Dominion's lawsuit was intended to take Fox down and this nuisance lawsuit is just riding on the coattails, there's your proof. There's your proof. Mr. Epps, the New York Times says, is seeking an unspecified amount of damages. Yeah, I bet. Tens of millions, maybe hundreds of millions. We don't know. We'll never see this. This is what the New York Times writes. They say the publicity, and this is the accusation, is that Tucker Carlson begot the publicity. The publicity had damaging consequences for Mr. Epps and his wife, Robin, who received numerous death threats and were forced to sell their ranch and their business in Arizona and move to a mobile home parked at a trailer park. Now, listen. If he received death threats, that's wrong. I don't condone that. I don't think that anybody should be issuing death threats against anybody, no matter who the anybodies are. I myself receive death threats on a daily basis. It's unpleasant. I don't wish that on my worst enemy. But to think that you could sue Fox for defamation because you received death threats, this is the most ridiculous idea that I have ever heard. The most ridiculous. The man told us, Ray Epps claimed that he was a Trump supporter. If you're a Trump supporter, I think it's a fair assumption that you might be conservative and you don't believe in free speech. You don't believe in the freedom of the press. You want to stifle anybody. You want to actually silence and criminally penalize them because they said things. They ask questions that are valid questions. Let's rewind here for just a minute before we get to the complicating factor. The complicating factor, just so you know, just a little spoiler here, is that Ray Epps in his lawsuit says that he was informed in May of 2023, so 2 months ago, he was informed by the Department of Justice that he would face charges for his actions on January 6th. Now, this is brand new information. It's funny, actually, that in most of these headlines about Ray Epps suing Fox News and Tucker Carlson, there's no mention of this claim by Ray Epps that he's going to face charges. It complicates this whole story, and we're going to break that part down because it's very interesting. But first, let's remember why these questions about Ray Epps were asked. They were asked based on the behavior of Ray Epps himself, based on the fact that you and I sat here and watched video of Ray Epps outside of the Capitol telling people the day before January 6th that they should break into the Capitol, literally inciting the violence that did happen. There was some violence. There was some vandalism. I don't condone either of those things. I don't think that the majority of the people that were at the Capitol were instigating an insurrection. I don't even think the violence and the vandalism was an insurrection. I think that that's a false accusation by the left. But Ray Epps was one of the people that was orchestrating the bad things that did happen. And then the next day, he was bragging about it to his nephew. This is the video that we saw. This is what Ray Epps was doing. Watch this.
Tomorrow, we need to go into the Capitol. Into the Capitol. What? No! Peacefully. Fed. Tomorrow, I don't even like to say it because I'll be arrested.
Well, let's not say it.
We need to go. I'll say it.
All right.
We need to go in.
Shut the boomer.
To the Capitol.
Base Fed posting? All right. We need to go into the Capitol. I didn't see that coming. Okay.
Monument Hill.
Speaking. We are going to the Capitol where our problems are. It's that direction. Please spread the word. All right.
Noted.
Okay, but one more thing.
Yeah, so can we go up there? No?
When we go in,
Are we going to get arrested if we
leave
go
this
up there?
here. You don't need to get
Did you
shot.
arrest us all?
He's running towards the Capitol. He was part of the first breach, and then he led the charge towards the Capitol. This is after telling people the day before that they should rush the Capitol. He was encouraging, he was inciting. We all saw this video. You saw this video, I saw this video, the Democrats saw this video, the FBI saw this video, the Department of Justice saw this video. Everyone has seen this video. Everyone understood what Ray Epps did on January 5th and January 6th. And then that was juxtaposed against two things. It was juxtaposed against the fact that the FBI did not charge Ray Epps with anything as they were rounding up, charging, convicting, holding in pretrial detention hundreds and hundreds of people associated with January 6th. Ray Epps was not charged with anything. He was just left alone. Hi guys, it's Liz Wheeler. Don't forget to watch my show, The Liz Wheeler Show, every night at 7 p.m. on the First TV. You can download the free First TV app, or you can visit thefirsttv.com/Liz and start watching today.